Welcome to the Integration Station. I'm Naturally Ashley, your host, here to guide you down the rabbit hole into the world of psychoactive plants, frogs, and fungi. Hello, you beautiful souls. It's Ashley here, your personal Pace Radio host, Sundays at 11 a.m. I have two special guests to introduce you to on today's episode. First is SD, or Mr. D. He's one of our personal mycologists and the admin for the Elemental Growth Network. So you'll see him in there a lot if you're connected with the Elemental Growth community already. If not, let's connect and we'll get you in there. After the break, we'll introduce our second guest, Andrew from Cali. He lives in California and he's just launched a new business called NXEV, meaning envision, execute, evolve. This is his personal psychedelic philosophy. Both of these professionals have years of personal experience working with psychoactive fungi and inspired to share what they have learned with us here at PACE. So please enjoy the show. This will be one wild ride. Let's dive in.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
Hey, SD! Great to have you here.
How's it going today?
It's going wonderful. I'm so grateful to have you here. Honestly, you've been an asset in our group.
I'm a little embarrassed. My lab behind me is such an intimate place that not a lot of people get to see. So, this is something new for me today.
Oh, what a privilege. You do great work there. I know many of our group members already know you. They see you be so active in the group. I'm really, excited to share you with them in this way and, get a sneak peek at
Absolutely.
behind the scenes, too.
For those of you that don't know me or haven't had a chance to interact with yet, my name is SD, or Mr. D. 46 years old. I'm a father of four. Got 2 kids and 2 stepkids, so that keeps me very busy. Lifelong depression patient. I don't like the term survivor, really, but I've had depression for most of my life. And about 6 years ago, I found mushrooms, and it really changed my life. And so now it's gone from something that helped me personally to a cool hobby that I really got into mycology and growing mushrooms, to something that's kind of become more of a profession for me. As of January this year, I've kind of gone full-time myco. Really focused more so on, growing mushrooms is great, and I put my all into growing mushrooms, the best quality, cutting-edge genetics that I can. But that's really just kind of the starting point, where I kind of envision myself and kind of see where the role I play, or the role that I've given myself to fulfill is really more of the therapeutic use of mushrooms, specifically with help with depression symptoms and addiction as well. I've been fortunate enough to be able to work with a number of addicts in the past, and I can't take any credit for any of that. It's really all the mushrooms. This magical medicine that just comes in and corrects people's lives and kind of shows them the perspective that they may have been lacking. And so that's who I am. That's what I do. Like I say, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to work with all of you. It's a pleasure to interact with all of you. And I try to be as accessible and down to earth as possible. There's a lot of things I don't know, but there's a lot of things that I do know, as far as how to use fungus to improve your life. And so just working on what I do know and how I can help, that's who I am. So, hey, everybody, if you're new to the group, if you yourself are struggling with addiction or with depression or anxiety, PTSD, or if you know someone who is, reach out. It's not all about, hey, how many mushrooms do you want to buy for me right now today? It could be something as, hey, I'm having a hard time. I'm just not myself anymore. I feel like there's not a way forward. Or I don't know how I can get through the end of the day or the end of the week without X, Y, or Z substance. You know, whatever the case may be. I feel blessed and fortunate to have met you in the first place, actually, and to be a member of the group. That's what the group's for. So if you're in the group and you're kind of like, hey, what's going on here? Reach out. We're here to help. I like to think of myself as a helper. So if I can help with anything related to addiction, PTSD, depression, anxiety, or if you found that mushrooms have helped you on any level personally, and you'd like to know a little bit more about how to grow your own mushrooms and make your own medicine, I'm certainly a resource that you can lean on there. Whatever stage of the game you're at, mycology is not a. It's not a. I try to make it as unmysterious as possible. It's really just a natural science, and if you put things into play, that it really kind of just happens. It knows what to do. So if you need help getting your grow on, let me know. Happy to help.
That's awesome. So what inspired you in your own journey to actually turn this hobby into a business? Like, obviously the mushrooms helped you with depression enough that they inspired you to help others, but to make it a full-time business, you know, what inspired that? How did you go all in?
That's a great question. It's something that just dawned on me. I found myself, I looked up one day, and it was probably about 3 or 4 in the afternoon, and I realized I've been doing nothing but mushrooms all day. I've been preparing grain to sterilize, and I've been doing a lot of the other, busy work, component work as far as growing mushrooms. I think I'd been back from the post office. I'd sent mushrooms out to someone somewhere. I had 2 or 3 people online that were just asking me questions about how to grow or how to dose themselves with mushrooms. That maybe they bought mushrooms for me and were like, hey, now what do I do? Do I just eat these or what, or when and how, where? And it dawned on me that, I'm spending most of my waking hours doing this. I had my job as a real estate agent previously, but that became a job. And I found myself really wanting to be in the mushroom space 24/7. And so I was able to kind of hit pause on my other career and give myself this job, which was nice. And so here we are. I decided that I was the mushroom man. I had been spending so much energy doing it. It's really where my passion was. And it just dawned on me that it was just on me to kind of take that next step, make this a reality. I've been using the excuse of, well, this is illegal, so I can't do this yet. I have to wait. And it's a decision that we all make as growers. Do we want to obey the law, or do we want to do what's right and help people? I think that, heaven forbid, if the authorities should find out about me, I would hope that at some point I would be able to look a judge in the eye and say, you know what, I sincerely tried to help my neighbors and my community members. But really it was just the fear. Fear is a motivating factor sometimes, or not. And it was really just, I'm not going to let this technicality limit what I do. I am the mushroom man. This is what I'm doing. And so it's just the mentality of like, hey, this is what we are now. This is what we do going forward. It's not something that you don't get an email from somebody up some corporate ladder saying, congratulations, you've been selected as the sole finalist for the, you just have to give yourself that job. And it's the best job I've ever had. So certainly, it's, you wake up in the morning and think, okay, what do I have to do today? I have to grow mushrooms, spread joy and healing and happiness. It doesn't get any better. Dream job.
It's beautiful. I love how you put it as that you gave it to yourself, and it is a gift. It really shows me too, you know, that you, coming from somebody with depression and addiction in their past, you know, depression is so much about being stuck in the past. When you're talking about mushrooms, you're definitely here today in the present moment, accepting your gifts. It's so important. It's such a, you know, a great thing I wanted to, you know, make present as we're recording this too. So, I'm curious, what is your favorite mushroom? What's your favorite mushroom to grow? What's your favorite mushroom to consume in your own life? And are they the same? Are they two different mushrooms?
I'm more specializing in cubensis, Psilocybe cubensis. I'm starting to kind of branch out into other species of fungus. I'm gonna try and take a stab at Pancyan, which is kind of a finicky species of fungus, but supposedly there's a couple of steps above cubensis on both the potency chart and just the overall euphoric effects that it can give. So the potential of that is exciting, and that's got me motivated to kind of branch out into new areas. But for the most part, I've been someone who specializes in cubensis. It's the world's most versatile psychedelic active fungus. It can grow in a variety of conditions. My favorite ones are Peterson. I think back to my one illumination trip where the dawning of consciousness for me was on Peterson. So that's always going to have a special place in my heart. I'm also an active member of the TAT Syndicate, the True Albino Teacher Syndicate, which was founded by a good friend of mine who is Canadian. That's just my favorite Canadian, except after you, of course. I think. My friend Jake, and he lives outside of Vancouver. He discovered the True Albino Teacher a few years back, and he's a good friend of mine. He's got a group on Facebook that's about 8,000 strong, 8,000 mushroom growers out there, all dedicated to this one line of genetics that he's developed. The True Albino Teacher, Ghost, Yeti, and it's just like a Willy Wonka's factory of cubensis genetics over there, and he's kind of outsourced that to anybody that's a trusted grower, i.e. anybody who can field some spores in the mail and grow those out. It's really all it takes to become a member of the TAT Syndicate. So Jip was a mentor of mine, and he helped me become the grower that I am today. And certainly the line of mushrooms that he's introduced to the world are some of my favorites as well. So in addition to the Peterson, probably my other favorites are Ghost and some of the other varieties from the TAT Syndicate. Shakti is a good one. I myself have put a couple on that map, but yeah, as far as cubensis goes, I enjoy growing most of the TAT Syndicate stuff. That's a lot of what I grow. It's what I spend a lot of my time doing, and a lot of the high potency cubensis as well. Peterson, the eggs, I grow a lot of those.
What significant changes are you seeing in this field? You've been in it for a while now.
Everybody is and I don't mean to put anybody down. I probably fit most of these categories myself, but everybody is a guru these days, Somebody that just pokes their first bag with some spores and is waiting on their first flush of mushrooms is all of a sudden the one to go to for advice on all of this. So really what I've seen is just an explosion of mushroom consciousness all over social media, Instagram, Facebook. I mean, I mentioned the TAT Syndicate. The structure of that is Facebook. It's a group on Facebook. I mean, if you want to be a member of the TAT Syndicate, you got to have a Facebook account, So just the overall number of growers has just exploded. And when I started growing, you would call a certain supply house, Sporeworks, and you already go online and make your order and it would come in the mail. But now there's just hundreds of just spore depots, of spore mongers, people who have just collected genetics and are putting it out there. So more than anything, just the overall growth in growers, which I think is a very positive thing. That's to me is a strong sign that people are listening, that message has been received loud and clear. That you don't have to turn to what the pharmaceutical companies, offer as far as relief. You can kind of take that into your own hands and heal yourself simply and easily. So that's refreshing to see that in action. To see the average person on the street aware of mushrooms and in a lot of cases taking that risk of their own personal freedom. All of us do it. Inoculating those spores and getting their own going for the first time. Just the number of growers has just exploded. The number of I would say advanced mycologists or advanced growers who understand advanced techniques like serial dilution. Growers that have microscopes that are looking at hook connections on mycelial growth on petri dishes. The number of growers who understand how to cross and make hybrid varieties out of two separate varieties has gone up a lot. Mycologists like Alan Rockefeller, the guy who selflessly dedicated his life to mycology and teaching others like myself how to do it right from a scientific, bioscience standpoint. Serial dilution, there's a lot more growers out there that understand how to do that. And so you're seeing the results of that. When I started growing, the only hybrid out there was albino Peterson. That was like the first one. And now, good Lord, it's like cannabis. I can't keep up anymore.
Yeah, I can't keep up at all.
Trying to keep up, just focus on my own developments, my own isolations, and my own crosses, and just like I say, I don't need to be the most well-known mycologist. I measure my success in how many people I can reach, how many people I can heal. Where does as growers we end up with these big bags of dried mushrooms. What happens to those mushrooms? Where do those go? Who eats those mushrooms? And I think that a true healer cares about that. Cares about where his product is going and what means is it being used. Is it are dance kids using it at the nightclub at the EDM concerts, or is it that single mother who's so anxious and depressed that she just doesn't know how she can make it to the next day? I kind of focus myself on that second crowd, people who are just looking for solutions to live better lives. That's really what is my barometer for success. I don't need to have the most followers on Instagram. I don't need to be invited to the psilocybin cup. It's cool that we have one, but it's just popularity contest. I think as healers, all the lessons we need are just everything that we learned in kindergarten. Just be kind and treat others like you'd like to be treated. And I think most good healers are actually people who have found that path on their own. People who've come out of a lot of pain, myself included. And kind of know that path back to recovery and are willing to kind of lead a gingerbread crumb trail for others to follow, so to speak. That's who I am.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And it resonates so much with me too. I took this path same as you. Maybe not. I was doing it before I became a parent, but when I became a parent, I stopped a little bit. I was like, I can't do this. It's illegal. And so I went for a whole bunch of other certificates so I wouldn't have to go back to the hospitality industry and risk my sobriety. And
oh God, what a toxic environment to try and be a sober person. Lord,
yeah.
Get you into a restaurant? It's the worst.
Yeah. So I went for all these other certificates and stuff, and I'm like, why is nobody talking about psychedelics? It was still all I wanted to. It really did consume me. It chose for me, and I think that's really a big part of it. When you're talking about other people healing, it really is. It's not a choice. It's that there's something to this that consumes you to the point that you have to share it. Yeah.
Exactly. To me, it's like I saw one of the most earth-shattering, beautiful experiences that you can just beyond words. And I know where that place is.
Yeah.
I've got a map that can take you right there.
Yeah.
And I just want everybody to, hey, I've got this place. It's euphoria. You know, all your fears are relieved. Your pain is gone. You're happy. You're joyous. Let's go to that place. You know, that's in my mind where I'm trying to take people, is a place of enlightenment, a place of where the pain finally disappears and you can kind of see why for the first time. That's where, you know, and that's enlightenment. It's an elevated plane of consciousness. You realize that there's so many different planes of consciousness that you can enter into. That's life-changing. And then when you get it deeper into it and you realize, I don't really necessarily need mushrooms to get to that headspace. I can focus and breathe and concentrate, and I can reach that same level of consciousness. It's just door openings, you know, discoveries.
The perception. Yeah.
You know, you could quote Aldous Huxley, but that guy knew what he was talking about. Aldous Huxley was a guy that had that same place in his mind and really wanted people to know about it. And bless him for all that he did to try and lead people there, you know?
And to put it in the simplest terms ever.
The Doors of perception.
Yeah.
You know, and the Doors, the rock band kind of took it and did their thing with it. But if we go back to who Aldous Huxley was, he was an English writer. It's probably the last person you would want to ask about altered states of consciousness. It's just one of those, I mean, I don't know, he probably had a good acid dealer and just started tripping out, you know, but wrote all about it and told others. And that's kind of where I'm at. I want to stay safe and not go to jail, first and foremost, but I want to tell others that it's possible. You know, I'll share this with you, Ashley. The country singer, Naomi Judd of the Judds, committed suicide 2 weeks ago. Tragically, just days before she was to be enshrined, deservedly so, into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Now, this is a performing artist who had been retired for over 20 years, millions of dollars, nice, comfortable home. You would think on the surface, this is a happy, you know, what more could you want out of life? And bless Naomi, she spent time out of her own, she took time out of her own life to speak about depression, to speak about how difficult it is, to speak about how it was for her personally, and how she fought to overcome that. The fact that she lost that battle is heartbreaking, first and foremost. And it goes to show even the most studied people who've been battling this for so long, we're still people, you know, we still break down, we still suffer too. The fact that she couldn't find that peace is just I don't know, I've been having a hard time wrapping my head around it, you know? On a personal level, that's been painful for me to kind of come to terms with. It's that Naomi Judd committed suicide. You know, I guess in a roundabout way, what I'm trying to say is that she took time to try and tell others, look, this is a disease. This can ruin your life. It can kill you. Watch out for it. Help others. You know, she did those things. And that's, you know, to a certain degree, that's what Aldous Huxley did. Hey, I've found this chemical. I got it from somebody else, but you take a little bit of it and wow, it alters your consciousness. The ramifications of what we can do with that are important. And in a similar way, I look up to those two people, to Naomi Judd and to Aldous Huxley. They're two people that tried to help humanity with their own experiences. And I think, you know, when you're working at a job that doesn't really have a set description or a set list of responsibilities, and it's a job that you gave yourself to heal other people, I think it's important to frame that focused and take a look back at your priorities. You know, what are we here for? We're all here for a reason. Things happen to us in our childhood that traumatize us. and we have to overcome those traumas, or we live with them. Those are your only options. Living with trauma is painful. And the pain of that trauma manifests itself in very negative ways. It's a very painful existence. So we're left with overcoming trauma. And to overcome trauma, it's like the 12 steps. You have to acknowledge that you were traumatized. But at the end of it, you kind of have to leave that breadcrumb, that trail of breadcrumbs for others to follow. Even if you weren't successful like Naomi Judd. Tragically, she ended up succumbing to her suicidal thoughts and took her own life with a gun. Heartbreaking. But at least she tried, at least she tried. And that's all we can do is try. So to me, that's what gets me up in the morning. How can I get my message out there? How can I let that single mother who's just in bed with depression for the 3rd day, is called in sick, doesn't have any more sick days, and her kids are, all... How can I get that person out of bed and motivate them and tell them the story that there is hope? That's the message. There's hope. Don't give up. You gotta keep fighting. You gotta keep trying. It's all you've got. And sometimes it's more than what you've got. And when you reach that point, you need to ask for help. And that's what this group is all about. If you've reached a place in your life where you just don't know how you're gonna go forward, you need to ask for help. And I think we've all been there. I know I have. And that's where true leadership and true just next level caring, I think, for lack of a better term, comes from. Just recognizing that in others. Walking each other home at night, making sure everybody's doing okay. And if you're in a place in your life where you just don't feel like you can make it to the next day without another drink, without another bump, without another line, without calling your dealer, if you haven't been out of bed for several days, you haven't taken a bath in 4 days, there's help. Get help. That's what we're all here for. I'm not the only healer in the group. There's a group chock full of healers. And it's a group founded by Ashley here, made out of love. I wouldn't be here if it weren't. And I've seen it happen time and time and time and time again. Somebody just raises their hand, I need help. And every time it's I love your group, Ashley. Boom, you've got a list of people like, what do you need? What's going on? How can we help? There's help out there, We just gotta sometimes have to drop our pride and ask for it. I can't do this anymore. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of intelligence, knowing that you need an extra hand to get where you need to go.
That's a beautiful piece of advice. Since we just have a couple minutes left here, I want to end with one last question. And that's, if I gave you a magical wand right now, what are the top 3 changes you would do in the world?
That's a good question. I think I would outlaw war. The concept of arming a group of soldiers with weapons to go attack a neighboring country is just obscene. As an American, it's embarrassing and disgusting to see how many times our own government has done it around the world. It's a sick, twisted thing. War. It's something that happens when you get individuals in positions of power. You get all megalomaniac and just want to, kill everybody. That would be the main thing. Outlaw war. What else would I do with my magic wand? I think, end suffering, end hunger, things like that. Homelessness, especially. Mental health crisis. I think number 3 on the list would be the mental health crisis in North America. When you're not feeling bad and you don't know who to turn to and you don't know what else to do, that first step for help does not need to be your family doctor. Your primary care physician is not who you need to go to as the first step to address mental health issues such as depression, for anxiety. The only thing those individuals are going to do for you is give you a prescription for a pharmaceutical poison that is not going to help your life in any way. What we need to stop, what we need to do is work to educate our neighbors and friends that if you're having a mental health crisis, if you're having mental health trouble, it's not a pill that's going to fix that. Your body is a beautiful organic machine. Your mind and body is a fascinating thing. It needs things. We all need things. You remember from school that hierarchy of needs, that pyramid. You got your basic needs on the bottom here. You have a need for shelter and food, and up top, you got love and self-realization. But at the end of the day, we still have needs. I think mental health in North America, I think, is really one of the main things I could change to answer your question. To get people to understand that it's a system. And if there's not balance in your system that is your body, i.e. exercise, nutrition, avoiding poisons like alcohol, if you're out of whack there, it's gonna, your body and your mind, they're very closely connected to your gut. And so if you're not in balance there, it's gonna cause things like depression and anxiety. It doesn't mean you need a prescription.
Yeah, and sometimes those prescriptions come with side effects too. If you're already feeling unbalanced, then why do you want to add in something else with other serious side effects? When you could instead get to the root of the problem and eliminate that. Start there.
To me, it's really what road you go down. Yeah. And if you want to go down that road, that trailhead starts at your primary care physician's office. You want to go down that road of bad side effects, poor mental health, spending a lot of money on crap poison that's just going to hurt you and it's not going to help you. That trailhead starts at your local family physician. God bless the family doctor. We need them. I'm not, nothing against them, but they don't belong in the mental health space. They're not trained for it. They don't have the tools necessary to deal with it.
Yeah, their training comes from big pharma. It's not around.
Exactly. It literally, yes, exactly. So if you want to go down that road, friends, neighbors, that road starts, that trailhead starts at your family doctor's primary care physician's office. Do not go to them for help for mental health needs. Do not. You need to come to, it's the 21st century. You need, not to be all woke, but you need to find help. You need to find some healers. You need to find people who are versed in a psychedelic option. And if you're currently speaking with a mental health professional and they're helping you, great. Kudos for you for going to that. That's wonderful. But if that individual seems totally ignorant and uninformed about psilocybin, about MDMA, about ketamine, then I think that's a true litmus test. You need to ask some hard questions if that's the right provider for you. Because I think in this day and age, with all the new information out there, if your counselor or mental health provider does not know about mushrooms as an option, is not willing to tell you, hey, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, you didn't hear this from me, but I know a guy and mushrooms might be the real best thing for you, then you have to ask yourself, do they really care about me as a human? Do they really care about me as a patient? Or is it something else?
Yeah. Are they just, are they busy with their paying off their debt and there's only a little bit of amount of time with each client because they got to keep them going so they can pay that debt
Next.
down?
Take this, call me in the morning. Next. Take this, call me in the morning. Next.
It's all their
it didn't work? Take two instead of one. Take another one. I love that. Take the add-on SSRI. When they start, that's when it goes from bad to worse at that point. When your provider says, okay, now we want you to take 2 SSRIs. They're just adding on to that point. It's just, oh God, I've seen that so many times. And when folks like you or I get to someone like that, they're all whacked out. It takes months to get off all that crap.
By the time people get to me, sometimes they're on these things for decades. And
mood stabilizer. What the hell is a mood stabilizer? What is that even?
For me, it's called Kundalini Yoga.
Yes. Yes. I think, and, back to what I was, people don't know what they don't know. And I think the best thing that I can do, why are we here? Why were we born? Why am I sitting here right now talking to you, Ashley? I think it's to help people, and if we're going to do that, then we need to start pointing them in the right direction. Yeah. So I'm glad. I've had a pleasure being in your group. I look forward to a lot more times in the group. I look forward to meeting everybody that's new to the group. Welcome. If I haven't had a chance to meet you.
We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.
Who has huge buds? You do. If you shop at BMA Hydroponics, attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888.
The only way to go.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Did you know that the Pace Radio Network isn't just a radio network? That's right, because most, but not all of our programming is now done via video and is then podcasted at paceradio.net. So if you want to watch our programming, you'll find us on the Pace Radio Network's Facebook page, plus the show's own page, and you'll find us live on the network's YouTube channel. And don't forget, you can find it all, video and audio, at paceradio.net.
At Legacy 420, we believe in being different.
Experience the difference of quality control.
Our labs provide tested formulations for all of our products.
Experience the difference in trust.
Our customers can trust that we are following up-to-date COVID precautions for their safety.
Experience the difference in accessibility.
We're open 7 days a week. Please visit our website, legacy420.com, or contact us for curbside pickup as well as nationwide mail order shipping.
Legacy 420 values overall wellness.
Come and experience the difference of Legacy 420.
CP operates medicinal cannabis signing clinic. If you want to grow your own medicinal cannabis and are located anywhere in Canada, then I'd like to suggest that you give them a call. They can be reached at 1-613-967-9888. That's 1-613-967-9888, and grow on with CP.
Catch the Reefer Reporters Mondays and Thursday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, live here on the Pace Radio Network.
A doctor's job is to relieve your pains, and when it comes to growing cannabis, the biggest pain is trimming. Let Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions take the pain away. Whether you're a home grower or a commercial operation, we have the cure. From 4 plants to 400 plants, garden size doesn't matter. Dr. Buck Cannabis Trimming Solutions comes to you with years of experience and professional discreet service. It's simple. We trim your weed, and we do a damn good job. Visit drbuckcts.com to book your trimming.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey everyone, hello you beautiful souls. Welcome back to the Integration Station podcast. I've got a special guest here, Andrew, and yeah, I'm just really excited. We've had him on before for another collaboration, and at that point in time, he was mainly known for being the microdose guru. Now he's here to share even more about psychedelics, alchemy, spirituality, and I'm really excited to just pass it over here and start getting into some of these fun topics. So, Andrew, if you want to give yourself an intro, let everyone know what you're up to now and how you're helping people.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Ashley. So now I'm known on the interwebs as Invexive, which is short for Envision, Execute, Evolve, and that's just kind of like my mantra for everything that I do, and what I feel like is just a really simple kind of outline of the process that we're we're all undergoing. We're all trying to become our highest self, and that's really what I'm all about, is just doing that myself and helping others do that as well. So that's what my coaching is focused on, is just helping people get a clear vision of the life that they want to build, and then helping them figure out the steps to get there.
Yeah, that's so important. I'm curious, what inspired you to take on this kind of challenge, to share it with the world? What's your story behind it?
For me, it's really just the one thing that actually brings meaning and purpose into my life. Being on this spiritual journey myself, as I'm sure most people know who are on this path, it can get dark and challenging and depressing, and you can feel really isolated and go through a lot of those challenging times, which you'll hear is the dark night of the soul, or those really difficult aspects of the spiritual journey. And finding something to really bring purpose to it and bring meaning into my life helps me stay positive and gives me direction. So I've found a lot of things that work for me and ways to help me on that path, and I really just love sharing that with other people now and helping them through those hard times so they can find purpose in it as well.
Yeah, the paying it forward, creating a ripple effect, that kind of stuff really works. I'm curious, what is your favorite tool to be using right now?
Right now, actually, I've been using this really awesome technology, and I'm also affiliated with the company as well, called In Harmony Interactive, and they make these meditation cushions and beds that have vibroacoustic technology within them. So it's super cool. You can connect your phone to these things with Bluetooth, and they have an app that you can basically play all these different frequencies through the cushion while you're meditating, and it's like a totally immersive vibrational meditation experience.
That's cool. Yeah, so it vibrates with the sound waves.
Yeah, so they'll have different tracks that play at different frequencies. You can use more than just their app as well. Like you can just play different guided meditations from YouTube on there. But anything that has like a bass vibrational frequency, like vibrates through the chair. Like I'll even listen to music through there sometimes, because it's just like a really cool sensory experience, feeling the music as well as listening to it.
What are some of your go-to songs or vibrations?
For songs, I think some of my favorites are the Daft Punk album Random Access Memories. It's like really like outer space, gives like a lot of outer space feels, and like I don't know, it just kind of takes you on a journey. It feels like you're on like a alien spaceship going through the universe.
What have been like some of your funniest experiences in that realm, like going into the cosmic space and even in meditative or working with different psychedelic medicine? Have you had any like funny cosmic experiences?
I mean, I don't know about like funny really, but like just it's always just like a different like almost unbelievable type of feeling. Like you never like can imagine that this is possible, and then like once you're there, it's just like it feels almost so like natural and normal, like that's where you're like meant to be. And I think that's just led me to develop better understanding of like our true like spiritual nature as the being, the energy being that is so much more than just this body. And I think that's really what the practice is all about for me, is just like getting to know that part of myself, because that's what I feel like we all really are, is just this energy being that is experiencing this physical realm for a time,
Yeah, I totally I'm doing a McKenna Academy thing right now. It's like a 7-day symposium, and I always, whenever I think about Dennis McKenna in any way, I'm always thinking about his cosmic giggle, that as we're having these kinds of insights, especially when it's around ourselves, laughter being that thing that just breaks up the intensity and helps us break through into that new understanding of ourselves and our place here, what our job really is, what our work is here to do in more ease. Because sometimes it can be sometimes it's not very comfortable going through those things, you know, like the dark night of the soul or the ego death, as you know, is discussed a lot these days.
Yeah,
So
laugh. Laughter is, as they say, laughter is the best medicine.
Oh yeah. So what significant changes have taken place since you decided to launch your business, like in yourself, in your own personal alchemy?
I mean, I've just really noticed that, like, a big shift in myself with my understanding of, you know, just everything, like my place and my purpose in this life. Because, you know, before it was just like, you know, I was doing all of this work for myself, but now it's so much more because I'm able to like share with other people and impact other people's lives. So I think just it's just reinforced everything that I know to be true, and like everything, all the new beliefs that I've formed over the, you know, past 10 years of my life when I've been like going through this process on my own. It's just kind of reinforced that in a way that gives me like a new level of confidence and ability to just speak about it and share it with other people, which has been really amazing.
What are some of your outlets for sharing these days?
I mostly, you know, just use TikTok and Instagram. I really enjoy the TikTok platform. I kind of resisted it for a while, you know, and like I never was a big technology person or social media person, you know, when I was younger, and just always like resisted technology. But in the past couple of years, I've gotten, you know, on TikTok, and I've really enjoyed just speaking my mind and making like short little videos just about, you know, downloads that I have while meditating, just like sharing. I write a lot of poetry, so I share my poetry on there as well. And it's just a really cool way to interact with tons of people in a really, you know, like immediate fashion. So yeah, that's mainly just making short videos through TikTok and Instagram Reels.
Yeah, I watch your videos too. I love them. And you get a lot in a short period of time. I always have beautiful scenery around you.
Yeah, I've been getting better at it, you know, like when I first started out, I just kind of did it like just, you know, just had fun with it. And that's what one message I really like to communicate with people is like, if you want to start sharing stuff, you know, just do it. Like, don't like worry about like that you can't make a video that's as professional as somebody else. Like, you have to start somewhere, and, you know, just start getting reps in and practicing, and you'll find, you know, new creative ways to make them better along the way. But unless you start, you're never gonna actually get to that point.
Yeah, that's one of Napoleon Hill's main topics too, is get started before you're ready. You know, it's you make the decision, the commitment to yourself, you know what your end goal is. It doesn't matter what it takes to get there, so long as you just start taking action in that direction right away.
And, you know, if you put out content that's not that great, like, the internet has such a short memory, people aren't gonna remember the like not so great content, but they will remember the really great content that you put out. And that's, you know, all that really matters is like, if at first, you know, you put out a few videos that aren't that great, just keep at it. And when you have one that really connects with a lot of people, you know, that's what you're really going for, is you know, sharing a message that's important, that's going to help someone who needs to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about who is there to listen, because there is somebody who wants to hear it. It's not always, you know, sometimes, especially in this realm when we're coaches, it's like we want to help our family and all of our friends, and sometimes it's not them that it's for. They're not always the most supportive, but once we get out there, you know, we realize, oh wait, there is somebody out there that wants it. And maybe it's just the one person the first time, but our most loyal followers that come in over time, they're there to support us in the growing process. So it's like they don't care that the first one sucks, because they still related to it. And over time, they're going to see that progress. And over time, as you become more ready for what's available to you, once you're doing the work, then you are ready for it. You know, I was just having, for an example, I was just on a call with a client earlier this morning, and she was talking about only getting 1 like in all of her posts so far in the last couple weeks. And my comment to her is, once you're ready, there's gonna be all the others, so you just focus on the one for now, and what is it that they're doing, and practice your communication. I had so much social anxiety, like I couldn't talk to anybody. It was like I was the type of person that goes and plays with the dog, especially after my sobriety. Like I had liquid courage when I would drink back in the day, but once I got sober, it was like just me and the dog.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's why it's important just to get those reps in and just practice, because once you kind of do it, it just becomes automatic, and I think a lot of people get discouraged and like try it for, a week or two, and then they're like, well, no one's liking my videos or no one's watching my stuff, so I'm just going to stop. But you can't have that attitude. Like, you just have to keep doing it. And like you said, when you're ready, like it's all about being able to attract, what you need as well, so when you're ready, when you're putting out that right vibration, like you're going to attract back what you need and what you're ready for in that moment.
I'm curious, we've talked a bit about business here. What do you do in your free time?
I've been getting really into running lately. Actually, I signed up for a half marathon in a month, so I've just been like doing a lot of trail running and trying to get myself trained up so I can actually run this whole thing, and just getting really into like fitness and stuff lately, because I've recently been forced into sobriety through a series of circumstances in my life where I'm being drug tested at the moment, so that's kind of different for me as well, and it's just kind of led me to experiment with new and different activities. So I've been like lifting weights a lot, hiking, trail running, and that's stuff that I've always done before, but I guess for a couple years I just kind of got away from that stuff, and it's been good to get back into like really good physical shape. It just feels really good.
Yeah, sometimes life throws us exactly what we need when we need it.
It seems to always do that, I think. It's just if you're paying attention, and how it's all your perspective and your perception of it. You can get mad and like upset about a difficult situation, or you can look at it as an opportunity or find the lesson in it.
Yeah, my mentor, Dr. Dan, he always says life's happening for you, not to you. Whenever you get in that victim mindset, it's important, just take responsibility and go with it. So when it comes to running and all that, there's such thing as a runner's high. And I was just doing a DMT documentary, and Wim Hof was in it talking about, the DMT being released in the lungs, and, I doing some Kundalini dance training, and that's all about opening up your third eye and getting the DMT released through there, and again through the breath work. And so I'm curious, are you able to get to these states from your past experience working with medicines? Are you working on it? Is that one of the goals?
that is one of the goals. Like I wouldn't say that I've gotten really good at reliably like accessing it at this point, but it's something that I've been practicing a lot. And I think that really is like kind of where I'm at right now. I love psychedelics. They've helped me so much in my life, but now I'm at the point where I want to be able to, access that realm that psychedelics shows us without needing any chemical assistance. Not that it's bad, if that's something that you're in a place in your life where you need that experience, you need that, that message from the medicine, you need that experience, then do it. But right now for me, it's like I'm having more more fun, like getting really into deep meditation and doing breath work and like intense exercise and stuff like that, and trying to access those realms without any assistance. And I think that ultimately that's like the mission we're all on, is being able to connect with source just instantaneously, like being able to have that clear connection without like removing all the limitations that stand in the way of being able to communicate with the infinite at any moment.
Yeah, I love that. And Wim Hof, one of the things I loved about him bringing that up, he's like, I was broke, I couldn't go pay for the substances, so I had to learn how to tap into it. And now he's doing all of these amazing studies through science and using his own body to show that, yeah, this is proven. And they've had amazing breakthroughs doing, a lot of it wasn't funded. They had to, prove their work before it was getting to that point, but it is picking up this science into DMT. And like what Terence McKenna used to say, we're all holding anyway. What's the point of having it, be illegal when we're all using it? And we do tap into this, runner's high when we're doing like crazy amounts of breath work. When we're dreaming, like there's a lot of links into DMT being a part of why it is that we go to these other dimensions when we're dreaming, why astral projection and lucid dreaming are even possible and happen naturally for some people and can be tapped into through practices for others.
Yeah, I was reading this book called Tibetan Dream Yoga, and it's super cool. It's written by this Tibetan Buddhist monk about they actually have like a practice of dream yoga where it's essentially lucid dreaming, but doing it in a very specific way. And there's all these breathing techniques and methods that you do to help yourself access that state. And then you're able to interact with like teachers and, different entities in the dream realm and bring that knowledge back into this realm.
It sounds like, what was it, Doctor Strange in the Marvel movie,
Yeah.
when they're going through the time dimensions. And yeah, I've definitely accessed those states through Kundalini yoga. Like I could never meditate in my drinking days. I was too anxious, as I said, and there was other chemicals involved there that just hindered me from reaching those other parts of myself. And a lot of it too, I think I was I had a really strong connection since early childhood with the dream mind. So I think I was trying to drown that out, like the nightmares and things like that, my connection to it. And when I got sober, I finally reached meditation through Kundalini yoga because of the fast action movement, the repetitive movement, the breath work and everything. And even reached it through running, I think, because once I had the experience once, it was like, it's easier to reach it, but still having full control to be able to bring things back, to even learn that communication. And the communication is different from working with plants like mushrooms. Like that's a different language too, and DMT a different language, and creating DMT yourself. And it's the same kind of dimension, I guess, but the language is still different. Because the way of getting there is a little different. Dennis McKenna said something on that too about DMT and psilocybin being from leading to the same dimension, but it's different ways of getting there, and you're meeting, different entities at the same time too. So there's a lot to explore here.
Right. I mean, it's like we're never ever going to be able to fully wrap our heads around this. It's like you can spend a lifetime just trying to understand this stuff, and that's why it's really so fun, I think, because it's never like we're going to reach a point where it's like, all right, like I've got it all figured out, like I'm a master of every corner of this reality. It's just there's always going to be something new, and I think that's really like the core of like the mystery of life, and like why we're all here is like just constant exploration and like constant change. Change is the only thing we can depend on. And I do want to touch on like how you said you kind of wanted to drown it out, and I really resonate with that, because I think especially if you have that kind of connection at a young age, or you like go through your spiritual awakening at a young age, like it can be a kind of overwhelming and like be like too much all at once. And I think I made a TikTok about this, about how that's what I feel like how a lot of people get into addiction is because your body doesn't want to like leave its comfort zone. you know? So it's trying to find a way to like keep your vibration in a lower state that it's comfortable with, that it's familiar with. And that's why getting into like drug and alcohol abuse can be, you know, an escape for a lot of people, because it's a method of doing that works, but it ends up causing, you know, further suffering. And it's kind of like another spiritual lesson that you have to go through in order to come out the other side with more knowledge and understanding.
Yeah, and there comes like this point too where it's like, oh my gosh, did I waste all that time? You know, could I have been further ahead, have a better understanding now that, you know, I've lived through the hell, like, you know? But at the same time, there still comes like this respect and reverence for the process, for understanding that was part of it, for, you know, to be able to teach, to be able to help to other people, you know, that becomes part of the purpose too. You know, you can't help anybody else unless you can actually relate and you've been there. And, you know, this is, you know, one thing that I think you and I both have in common is working through the hell to find the heaven, and finally be able to navigate it enough that we can hold the gates open for other people to get out. I mean, we're not going back and grabbing people, throwing them out, unfortunately, as much as I'd like to sometimes. But we can hold the door open and just say, like, this way, you know, be the light.
Yeah, that's all it is. And, you know, that's one reason I've been really getting into, like, the study of alchemy and, like, the principles, universal laws and stuff like that, because it just really, like, explains that process, you know, like the law of rhythm, like, explains that we're always going, like, back and forth between, like, that heaven and hell, between that darkness and that light. But the better you understand that, the more control you have over the process. You know, when you're going into a dark time, you have the ability to transmute that into something positive, rather than getting, like, totally, like, destroyed by it and letting, you know, whatever the events are that are happening really run it. You are in control, and you understand how you influence you know, the outcomes more so.
Yeah, the Toltec path to freedom, taking 100% responsibility.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think, you know, at the end of the day, really any experience that we have, anything we go through, is because we asked for it. You know, we made that decision to put ourselves in that place. So you can't be looking for an external source to blame for anything that happens to you. You know, you always have to examine it and figure out how you got there and how you put yourself in that place. And
so you don't have to stay there.
Right. Because once you can do that, then that's, you're learning the lesson and you're seeing the next step, you know. And that's why so many people who you'll see, you know, like, especially like in our families and friends who we really want to help, we see them stuck in these situations for years, sometimes for lifetimes, and we want to help them, but we can't, because it's their decision. And if they want to continue to play the same cycle over and over again, you know, we can't stop them from doing that. That's just the trip that they're on, and they're gonna have to finish it out, you know?
Yeah. There's a really awesome poem. It's called The Autobiography in 5 Chapters. I'm not sure if you've ever checked that out, but it's really, I can't remember the person's name, but just check it out. As soon as you Google it, it'll pop up. It's literally a 1-pager. And it's called Autobiography in 5 Chapters, but each chapter is just a line, and it literally runs through life. For anybody else watching this call, I'm probably gonna butcher it, but essentially it's chapter 1. You walk out the door, you fall in a hole. What happened? Like, how do you get here? How do you get out? And it's like all these questions. You finally, after a long period of time, get yourself out. The second day you fall in the hole, oh man, I forgot, I fell in the hole again. Like, what happened? It's okay, because I can get my way out. It still takes a while, but it's fine. The third time you fall in the hole, oh man, like, why am I here again? Why me? Life sucks, what's wrong with me? And then, but you mumble and grumble, but you get yourself out. Chapter 4, you go around the hole. Chapter 5, you walk down another street.
Right. I think I have like maybe seen like a TikTok of someone like reading that or something, because it sounds really familiar. And the context that I heard it in was relating it to like habits and changing bad habits, because it's the same, you know, analogy there. It's like if you pick up a bad habit, you know, every time you do it, you kind of get a little bit better. Like something like quitting drinking or something. Like maybe you try 3, 4, 5 times, but every time you get a little bit better at it. You pick up something else. You pick up a little more knowledge. You pick up some more skills that are going to help you, you know, actually finally overcome it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and just enjoy the process while you're doing it. You don't have to beat yourself up for those moments if you're able to find a lesson in it and then learn how to love yourself still. You know, it doesn't, it's okay to fall in the hole as long as you're learning and remember your way out.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have trouble with that, where they're just like, you know, once they fall in the hole, they're just like, well, I'm here now, I might as well just like stay, you know, like, well, you know, I had a drink, so I might as well just keep doing it, like I already failed, you know. But it's like, it's okay if you mess up, just get back to what you were doing the next day, you know, like just don't allow it to get you down into like that negative spiral of events, because once you do that, you know, you're gonna have to come a lot further back to get back to where you were.
Right. So we just have a couple minutes left here. I got one last question for you if you're ready.
For sure.
All right. So if I give you a magic wand that could grant you 3 wishes, what 3 changes would you make in the world?
Oh my goodness, this is a hard one for sure. It's like, what would I change? Oh man. Well, I would probably just legalize all illegal substances, because I think that would solve a lot of problems. Because I think a lot of the issues we have in our world today are because of laws that don't make sense, and like
law books about this big, and all we need is like this.
Right. Just make the one law: do no harm. That's the only law that needs to.
Golden rule.
Yeah. So do no harm is the only law. You know, I would probably do away with like money as we know it, you know, and just create a system of being able to create value within small communities, you know, and just give people a chance to flourish and really live meaningful lives in touch with nature. Is that already 3, or do I have one more?
You got one more.
Let's see. I would make all the world leaders understand love.
I love it. The third one's always the deepest.
Yeah, that would definitely solve all our problems.
Yeah.
People were operating from a place of love instead of greed and, you know, control and power and, you know, whatever place they're in. I don't know. I can't pretend to know or understand it, but it just doesn't seem like a good place to be.
I love that you wish better for them. We just had someone in the group freaking out yesterday just about, you know, none of it's fair. And, you know, everybody has like their breaking point. It was just like, you know, finally the anger comes down. It's healthy to get it out too. But, you know, I love hearing that you're in the place. I know it's going to be inspirational to a lot of people, that it's just come back to love.
Yeah, and, you know, we can't see ourselves as separate from anyone. You know, I wrote a little note in my phone the other day for an idea to make a video, and the idea was there is no them. You know, it's always the us and them mentality, but there is no them. We're all one. And once you understand that, you know, things become a lot easier. Life becomes easier because you don't feel like you're up against someone. You know, you're really, what we're all doing is working to create a better world. And like, it doesn't matter that there's people out there doing bad stuff. Like, as long as you are doing positive, eventually good always wins, you know. Like, watch Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or any of those great stories, and that's what it's about. It's about the good always overcomes.
I'm just thinking of I think it was Endgame or something. He's like Spider-Man fan, and they finally beat out Thanos. That's my visual.
Yeah, I mean, that's essentially every story is that same story. It's that's what that's what we love to watch. You know, that's what entertains us as these like spiritual beings who are balancing darkness and light within our lives every day. We love watching these stories of people doing that, of people fighting these great battles, you know, on the big screen. And it's pretty funny that like almost every story, great story, I feel like if you looked at it, boils down to that basic idea.
I'm with you there. All right, Andrew. So if you want to take a couple of seconds, you can let everybody know how to contact you and get in touch, you know, continue the conversation one-on-one. I'm also going to link all your information below for anybody who doesn't catch it on this call, but yeah, give yourself a shout out.
Best place to reach me is through Instagram DMs. So that's at Invexive, so ENVEX. So yeah, just shoot me a message there, and look forward to talking to you guys. Much love.
Yeah,
thank you
much
for
love, Andrew.
having me, Ashley. It's been super fun talking as always.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. It's sharing you with everybody. You know, that's my honor. Thank you, Andrew, for everything that you're doing. We'll talk soon.
All right, great.
Bye.
Bye.